afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. It gives us immense pleasure to welcome you all to ICTforAg 2022, the world's leading global conference on digital agriculture for the next 2 days. My name is Rachel Wangare, a manager with the business consulting and research team at IntelliCap, and I am joining you from Nairobi, Kenya. We are incredibly excited to be hosting you today as we come together to find solutions to bridge the food security gap and build resilient communities in low and middle income countries. This year, we bring to you new and insightful conversations aimed at driving our core mission of advancing resilience, nutrition, and agriculture-led growth in a digital world through meaningful collaboration and engagement within the digital agriculture community. I am pleased to announce we have more than 3,000 registered participants from over 100 countries, 21 exciting technical sessions, our first ever Tech Innovators Showcase, 4 social sessions, and over 120 global speakers who will lend their expertise and repute to this conference. This event is sponsored by Feed the Future and the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, through GIZ, and is implemented by DAI and IntelliCap. A special shout out to our featured session partner, Tetra Tech, as well as our session co-creators and media and outreach partners, without whom this event would not be possible. This year's conference promises to give you an experience unlike any other. Our agenda is designed for knowledge sharing and learning by deep diving into key topics across our 4 cutting-edge themes: locally led development, climate, digital inclusion, and digital and data sovereignty that highlight the challenges and opportunities present in the digital agriculture space. Please do drop in your questions and comments in the Q&A section on the Uber platform, and stay connected with us on Twitter and LinkedIn through our handles at ICTforAg. We'd love to hear your thoughts and insights using the hashtag ICTforAg2022. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jim Bernhardt, Assistant to the Administrator, United States Agency for International Development, USAID's Bureau for Resilience and Food Security, as well as the Deputy Coordinator for Development for Feed the Future, the US government's Global Hunger and Food Security Initiative, to say a few words.
Thank you for inviting me to participate today. I had the pleasure of kicking off the last ICT4Ag conference, and I'm pleased to be here again to welcome you all today. Given the global pandemic, we decided to host the last ICT4Ag in 2020 virtually, and we're glad we did. As a globally accessible virtual conference, ICT4Ag 2020 reached more than 1,500 people. And this year, we're hoping to reach even more than that. Digital technology is a driving force behind development efforts. It allows farmers to track weather forecasts, market information, and agronomic advice all from their cell phones. It reduces the cost of doing business while promoting efficiency, and it can contribute to more climate-friendly agriculture practices. At the same time, we recognize that access to digital infrastructure and digital technologies is not evenly distributed. Women often face even more barriers to accessing technology, which might otherwise increase their access to finance and expand employment opportunities. On average, women are 20% less likely to own a smartphone. This has real consequences for their families and food production. Less than 6 months ago, the US government launched a new global food security strategy, which guides the Feed the Future initiative, a strategy that is tailor-made to achieve food security in the context of today's challenges: COVID-19, inequity, conflict, and the climate crisis. We recognize the increasing importance that digital technologies play in the global economy and food systems, which is why we've elevated digital technologies to a cross-cutting intermediate result in the strategy. This will allow us to ensure that the appropriate and responsible use of digital technologies are not just an optional benefit for our programs, but an integral part of their implementation. And late last year, USAID's Bureau for Resilience and Food Security released its own Digital Strategy Action Plan, which outlines our Bureau's plan to implement USAID's first ever digital strategy. I'm excited to see that this year's conference themes include a dedicated focus on locally led development, climate, digital inclusion, and data sovereignty. I look forward to learning from the presenters and participants about how you are using digital technologies in the agriculture sector. These strategies are critical if we are to truly leverage the potential of digital technology, particularly for smallholder farmers in low and middle income countries. We know that some emerging economies lack widespread adoption of digital tools, like mobile, particularly smartphones, computers, and sensors, and this is on a wide scale. It's particularly due to high costs, low network coverage, and a lack of digital literacy. These barriers tend to be highest among women and girls in rural, low-income, and less educated populations. This is where the Feed the Future program and our partners can make a difference. For example, the Feed the Future Developing Local Extension Capacity Project worked across 17 countries, working with NGOs, government, and the private sector to deploy digital technologies to improve extension and advisory services, reaching more than 1.3 million farmers. In Nigeria, for instance, with help from instructional videos, women dairy producers were able to reduce the amount of spoiled milk from their cows from 40% to nearly zero. This is the kind of impact we can have when we use digital tools. So as we formally launch this year's ICT4Ag conference, I would encourage each of you to think about your own role in helping to make digital technologies and agri-food systems more inclusive, locally led, climate responsive, and user-centric. Take advantage of the conference's various session types, from technical to social sessions, technology showcases, and virtual networking to ask the hard questions. Make new connections, learn something new, and forge new partnerships. I wish you all an enriching next 2 days. Thank you for your active participation. You will make this conference a success.
Thank you, Jim, for setting the context for our discussion over the next 2 days and providing valuable insights on the importance of ICT4Ag. It is my pleasure to now invite Sebastian Lesch, Head of the Agriculture Department, German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, to the floor. Over to you, Sebastian.
Thank you, Jim, and also a very warm welcome to all of you on behalf of the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. It's my pleasure that we are joining today with USAID and this year and supporting this important conference. And even though we do miss the personal interactions, hosting the ICT4Ag virtually allows a far wider reach and participation, which seems true when looking at the high number of registrations that we have from all over the world. We're here today because we are all motivated by one single thing. We want to harness the potentials of digitalization for a more sustainable agri-food system. We all know that there is enough food produced on Earth to feed everybody, to feed the world population as a whole. but more than 800 million people still continue to suffer from acute hunger. And currently, we're experiencing a further serious backslide caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The number of people suffering hunger is actually significantly rising again. Further accelerated by climate change, by the rise of food and also energy prices that are spiking, by conflicts. And the FAO recently adjusted its estimates and now expects between 860 and 909 million hungry people by 2030. These figures make it very clear that the more needs to be done to counteract this negative development. If we want to ensure that one day everyone on Earth can live a secure existence without hunger, then we need new ideas. We need structural, multilateral approaches to fight growing inequalities. When millions of people suffer from hunger and migrate because they fear for their future, when soils, when forests and biodiversity fade away, when climate change and globalization lead to rapid global transformation, then we clearly need a change in strategy. We as a development ministry are addressing these challenges within one of its 5 new strategic core areas, that is sustainable agri-food systems. We are breaking with the old ways of thinking. Already in 2014, we broke with them, and we took innovation as one of the guiding principles to what we are doing. In those last 7 years, together with our partners, we have developed innovative solutions to a number of these challenges. And we think that we have achieved quite a lot. We have been able to support over 5 million people directly, especially women and children. We currently expect to reach a total of 9.5 million people with our contribution to overcoming hunger and malnutrition over the next years. Now, digitalization and innovation can play a crucial role in achieving all these goals because they help improving the access to information in markets, they help enhance productivity, sustainability, resilience of farms, of businesses, of value chains. Farmers are using digital tools already and recognize that digitalization has the potential to give them access to market information, agricultural inputs, advisory services. However, promoting digitalization from our experience is not just about finding the right technical solution to a technical problem. It is ultimately about the people who will use and benefit from those digital solutions. It's about the skills they need to do that. And it's about the right framework and the right conditions, conducive conditions to do that. And that is why we as a development ministry support the implementation of a wide range of AgTech projects, from scaling digital startups to building open source traceability solutions to capitalizing on innovative instruments. If you look at our fund for the promotion of innovation in agriculture, I4Ag in short. This I4Ag fund is also responsible for organizing this great event today with the USAID Feed the Future program, and I'm really delighted that we're doing this jointly today. Concretely, it's GIZ that is implementing various Digital for Ag projects on behalf of us as a ministry. And I would like to take the opportunity to give 2 examples of projects that are currently being implemented by the I4Ag Fund. One example is AgriPath. AgriPath provides farmers and extension services with tailored digital solutions for sustainable agricultural practices. Now, what makes this project interesting is that the focus is not just on the technical solution, but it looks at intra-household decision-making and established social gender norms. And we want to empower especially women by doing that. Another project I want to introduce to you is looking at the potentials of satellite-based digital solutions for monitoring soil organic carbon, something completely different from the first example. If the technology can be validated, it would allow for many new potential links to smallholder farmers and links between smallholder farmers to the carbon credit market, which would provide financial incentives for practicing regenerative agriculture. Now, in terms of addressing the digital divide, we are supporting various projects that empower smallholder farmers with skills, with knowledge around digital agricultural innovations. In Benin, for example, one project is working with Library Without Borders to find alternative ways of learning in remote areas where there's little infrastructure and hardly any access to smartphones or the internet. Platforms such as ICTforAg conference deepen those discussions, and they allow for peer learning and critical reflection on not only the opportunities, but also the challenges of AgTech, especially for smallholder farmers. This platform provides the ideal space for multi-stakeholder engagement so that we can join forces to strengthen the digital ecosystem with different actors in the AgTech space. So let's now start the discussions and let's start the peer learning and let's find ways to keep the conversations and exchanges going beyond these 2 days that we're having now. I will see you in the sessions and I wish everybody very much fun doing all this. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian, for articulating so well the vision we all share for a more sustainable and resilient future and the roadmap for how to get there. Wow, it has indeed been an amazing start to the conference. We have now come to the end of today's opening plenary and hope that our virtual convening platform, Hoover, will enable you to seamlessly connect with other like-minded individuals and make your ICT4Ag 2022 experience truly valuable. So let's keep the conversations going through the discussion threads and virtual meetups that remain open to all attendees on our community page based on your specific interests and goals. We'll see you soon at the amazing sessions lined up today. Join us at ICTforAg, the role of digital tools in facilitating a transition to regenerative agriculture and connecting women to agriculture digital services, pathways to scale, starting in half an hour. Also, please note that in case you are torn between attending 2 amazing parallel sessions or miss a particularly interesting discussion due to a time zone conflict, all our sessions will be available to view on our YouTube channel. I hope you have a great ICT4Ag experience and are able to make the most of our virtual platform. Have a great rest of your day and thank you once again for joining us.